Conversations with an alien god. Conversations with an alien god. Read book 2, chapter 8 and 9. I have done this like twice, and every time the DC DC editor it kind of off by itself. I think it's on purpose. It's really on purpose. The interesting thing about talking to you is that you always leave me with more questions than answers. Now I have questions about politics as well as sex. Well, regarding to sex, some say they are the same thing. That in politics all you have to do is to get FKD. And then the Virgo man here acted up, the good to Susan, that he's a shameless cat and he behaved like he's so good and saint. Wait a minute, you are not going to use obscenity, are you? Well, yes, I thought I would shock you a little. Hey, cut it out. God isn't supposed to talk like that. Then why do you? Most of us don't. The hell you don't. And then God talk about hell, huh? It talks a lot. It shows a lot. But who these beings here communicate with these men really are? Those people who are God fearing don't. Oh, I see. You have to fear God in order not to offend Him. And who says I'm offended in a way by a simple word? And finally, don't you find it interesting that a word some of you use on the height of passion to describe great sex, you also use as your highest insult? Does that tell you anything about the way you feel about sexuality? I think you've gotten confused. I don't think people use that term to describe a glorious, truly romantic sexual moment. Well, some of the obscene people does. A lot of them does. Not all. Not the proper people who are more traditional. But at least most of them does that. This is true. Oh, really? Have you been in any bedrooms lately? No. Have you? I am in all of them all the time. Well, that should make us all feel comfortable. What? I say that you do things in your bedroom that you wouldn't do in front of God. Most people aren't comfortable with anyone watching, much less God. Yet, in some cultures, Aboriginal, some Polynesian, lovemaking is done quite openly. Yes, well, most people haven't progressed to that level of freedom. In fact, they would consider such behavior regression to a primitive pagan state. These people called pagans have an enormous respect for life. I don't agree. They kill animals, they kill one another, they even practice cannibalism, even rape goes on there. No, you are lying. Whoever you are lying. It's not true. Okay, I believe in what I have find out and I have searched, not what you tell me. They know nothing of rape, and there are visually no killings in their societies. Your societies put sex, a very natural, normal human function, under cover, then turns around and kills people right out in the open. That is the obscenity. You have made sex so dirty, shameful, taboo that you are embarrassed to do it. And it is dirty. It's a dirty thing. At least see, as you see it most of the time, even within marriage, where the wife doesn't want but the husband forces her to, that's dirty. All the nonsense, the violation done in the name of sex is dirty and is wrong. All the nonsense you see around pertain to sex. I rather do with sex and live without it in a world where we don't need this nonsense, and that we breed it, um, that we may breed through another process of artificial insemination rather than through coitus, through the act itself. Because there's enough. Sex did more harm than good here in this planet. Nonsense. Most people simply have a different, they might even say a higher sense of propriety about sex. They consider it a private interacting, for some a sacred part of their relationship. Lack of privacy does not equal lack of sanctity. Most of humanity's most sacred rites are performed in public. Do not confuse privacy with sanctity. Most of your worst actions are taken in private, and you save only your best behavior for public display. Now that's hypocrisy, but you don't have to go around and show everybody what we are doing. I mean, in terms of compilation, that's nonsense show off anyway. This is not an argument for public sex. It's merely a noting that privacy does not necessarily equal sanctity, nor does publicity rob you of it. As for propriety, that single word and the behavioral concept behind it have done more to inhabit man's and a human's greatest joys than any other human construction, except the idea that God's punitive which finished the job. Apparently, you don't believe in propriety. The trouble with propriety is that someone has to set the standards. This means automatically that your behaviors are being limited, directed, dictated by someone else's idea of what should bring you joy. There's better thing to do in life than just sex. Sex is not the utmost joy in life. What it serves to use as how to say is a channel or a tool for Luciferians aliens to draw energy from the herds here, the human herds in here. You have sex, you enjoy, you seek orgasm, you reach orgasm, and then in turn, what happens? Your energy, half of it or most of it goes to other frequency, and the aliens are all there robbing your energies, your how to say your ethereal and your vibrational energy, your telluric energy. Okay, so that's what sex serves the most, and then in turn, and as a result, you create other being. Creating other being, most of the time are unwanted pregnancies. We have unwanted pregnancies, we have sexual diseases caused by this act, and I feel that in this rapes, violation, violence within this construct, and I don't think that it has done much good for human other than disservices and dysfunction, because we can do without. I mean, some of us can do without it. We are ready to do without it. Although there's a lot of not involved people there who are still in so much need of this, because they are working for their lower chakra. They respond to life lower chakra. Okay, so that's why they do that. Some men or even women get so anxious because their energy is all deposited there on the lower chakras or the root chakras, and they become out of balance. They become anxious, and then they think that they need to relieve it through their lower chakras or through sex, but that's not the truth. Okay, to deliver it this way is just a choice, a preference. It's not a must, but a preference. You could go jogging and throw this energy away. Go jogging, go scale a mountain or something, go gardening, go shopping, even do house chores, and you see that these energies will dissipate. And when you look, oh, actually I didn't need it, I don't need sex. For what? It's when you are idle and you have nothing to do, you are idle about. It's a lazy man, lazy woman who has nothing to do in their mind. They don't use their higher chakras, their mentality to think of the higher truths, of things of the intellect. And what they do, they work and function through their lower chakras alone. That's root chakra, the brown one. And this is what happened. They become out of balance, and they think that they are very, oh, I'm so sexual. I'm a nymphomaniac. I'm a little woman. Or I am a very kind of I'm a Samson man. I'm a kind of a Zeus god of sex, sexual god, sexual goddess. You're nonsense, I tell you. It's all nonsense. It's all a construct already created by aliens, for aliens, so as to withdraw energies from you, your humans, okay? And it's only when you evolve that you pass through this, you go for celibacy, you know that you don't really need it. To do it was just a preference, not a must, not a thing that you have to go through or do, okay? And you could also, you can, in fact, you can produce children without the need for sex, for coitus. You can just make an artificial insemination. It's so easy. So easy to do artificial insemination without having to go through the process of coitus. So the trouble with propriety is that someone has to set the standards. This means automatically that your behaviors are being limited, directed, dictated by someone else's idea of what should bring you joy. In matters of sexuality, as in all other matters, this can be more than limiting, it can be devastating. I can think of nothing more sad than a man or woman feeling they would like to experience some things, then holding back because they think that what they have dreamed of, fantasized about, would violate the standards of propriety. I mean, if they want to do, they are in synchronicity, both of them, both partners, be it hetero or homo, up to them. But what they cannot do, what you cannot do is force our will upon another. We cannot. We just cannot force our will upon another. After all, the line continues moving. There's so many other fishes there on the fish. If you want the one to be eaten, then you can go and fish another fish. What's the problem? Why must you force this other fish to be eaten? That's rubbish for me. It doesn't make sense to me in my way of logic. Mind you, it's not something that they wouldn't do. It's not something that violates propriety, not just in matters of sexuality, but in all of life. Never ever fail to do something simply because it might violate someone else's standards of propriety. If I had one bumper sticker on my car, it would read, "Violating propriety." I would certainly put such a sign in every bedroom. Ugh. But our sense of what is right and wrong is what holds society together. How can we cohabitate if we have to agree? We have no agreement on that. Doesn't matter, man. Married are those who lives well and not those who have a certificate for cohabitate, okay? Not those who have a certificate, a legal certificate to cohabitate, but married are those who lives well together. Propriety has nothing to do with your relative values of rightness or wrongness. See, you might all agree that it's wrong to kill a man, but is it wrong to run naked in the rain? No, it's not. It's nice, it feels good to run naked in the forest in the rain, but don't do it in certain backwards countries that can even go to jail. You might all agree that it's wrong to take a neighbor's wife. Yes, very wrong. But is it wrong to take your own wife or have your wife taken you in a particularly delicious way? If they are both agree, why not? Propriety seldom refers to legalistic limitations, but more often to simpler matters of what is deemed appropriate. Appropriate behavior is not always the behavior that is what you call your best interests. It is rarely the behavior that brings you the most joy. Getting back to sexuality, you are saying then that any behavior is acceptable behavior so long as there is mutual consent among all those involved and affected. Shouldn't that be true of all of life? Means all mutual consent and agreement don't violate the free will of another. That should be the mode of life. But sometimes we don't know who will be affected or how. You must be sensitive to that. You must be keenly aware. In a way you truly cannot know and cannot guess, you must make a mistake in the side of love, on the side of love. The central question in indecision is, what would love do now? Love for yourself and love for all others who are affected or involved. If you love another, you will not do anything that you believe could or would hurt that person. If there is any question or doubt, you will wait until you can get to clarity on the matter. But that means others can hold you hostage. All they have to say is that such and such thing would hurt them and your actions are restricted. So go find another idiot man or the stuck it up men. So stuck it up in a appetite. A Virgo man is always appetite in a stagnate. They don't they don't they don't do the acting, they don't come up from on top, you know. I mean, okay, if the woman don't want to do everything that he wants, so go and find another. There's always another, and if she don't want, is her problem. Then you have to solve it with her. You tell her, then I need to find another partner because I have contagious. So go find the one that is willing, better yet maybe a sex worker, but use a condom for hygiene's sake. And that woman, the wife, the one it then separate. I feel this way. Go for a divorce, go for separation, because this man wants that. So if he want to be wild, go and live like a wild beast somewhere else, out of my life. Why should I stop him from having his wishes? Not with me, not through me, but through others. Only by yourself wouldn't you want to restrict your own actions to those which do not change the ones you love? But what if you feel damaged but not doing something? Oh my God, he's so stupid, man, so stuck it up and so how to say chauvinistic, bigot man, chauvinistic, selfish, only think about himself. Gonna find another outside there. I don't know. I don't see why a woman should pine for a man and begs for a man to stay by her side all the time, and then put up for all his nonsense. They use emotional garbage, baggages, and tell them, if you love me, you do this and that. Okay, I don't love you, go find another who will do this for you, and then maybe she will love you. Because I don't love you, I don't love you for that. Okay, I love myself first. That's how a woman is supposed to be. And a woman is supposed to have dignity. Okay, if you don't have dignity, then you are a tramp. Even as a wife, even within a marriage, your husband is supposed not to abuse you, unless both of you are in mutual agreement to do certain dirty things, like go out of the normal in sex matters. If he wants more than what you are able to offer him, ask him to go and fish elsewhere. But don't debase yourself in your dignity just because you don't want to lose that man. A man who respects you will not ask for more than what the woman are willing to give. In all matter, all aspect. Could it be sexual? Could it be in terms of cook for him, or be his slave, and be his SLUT in bed? You don't have to be this way. You must love yourself first and give you dignity first. And if you say, oh, like this, what for you married? Best don't marry. So you married for that? You married to have a slave? Gonna find your slave outside there and leave me alone, because I still want my dignity. Then you must tell your loved one your truth, that you are feeling hurt, frustrated, reduced by not doing a certain thing, that you would like to do this thing, that you would like your loved one's agreement, that you may do it. You must strive to seek such an agreement, work to strike a compromise, seek a course of action in which everybody can win. If the woman says no, dude, you don't need to keep on insist in trying to violate that woman's dignity. Okay, that's not loving. You are loving yourself through her in this way. So it's better that you separate, go your way, get lost, go away. And if this woman still wants to stay together, then she have to put up with all this abuse, sexual abuse. And if such a cause cannot be found, then I will repeat what I have said before. Betrayal of yourself in order not to betray another is a betrayal nonetheless. It is the highest betrayal. Your Shakespeare put this another way: to die on self be true, and it must follow as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. But the man who always goes with what he wants becomes a very selfish man. I can't believe you are vocation this. You assume that a man will always make what you call the selfish choice. I tell you this, man is capable of making the highest choice. Yet, I will tell you this, the highest choice is not always the choice which seems to serve another. Luciferians always think of service to self, you see, rather than service to others. They are more to service to self first. In other words, sometimes we must put ourselves first. Oh, always you must put yourself as first. Then, depending upon what you are trying to do or what you are seeking to experience, you will make your choice. When your purpose, your life purpose is very high, so will your choices also be. Putting yourself first does not mean being what you term selfish. It means being self-aware. You lay a pretty broad basis for the conduct of human affairs. It is only through the exercise of the greatest freedom that the greatest growth is achieved or even possible. If all you are doing is following someone else's rules, then you have not grown, you have obeyed. That's true. Contrary to your constructions, obedience is not what I want from you. Obedience is not growth, and a growth is what I desire. But why you do this? Because you are not a God, I'm sorry to say that, and because there are others God who are contest with you for the people here on earth. That's the truth. And if we do not grow, you throw us in hell, right? Wrong. But I have discussed that in book 1, and I will do so at length in book 3. Okay, so within these broad parameters you have laid out, may I ask you some final questions about sex before we leave the subject? Shoot. If sex is so wonderful, a part of the human experience, why do so many spiritual teachers preach abstinence? And why were so many masters apparently celibate? Good question. Because I think that they knew better than to just let themselves blemish themselves. For the same reason, most of them have been depicted as living simply. Those who evolve to a high level of understanding, bringing their bodily desires into balance with their minds and souls. You are three-party beings, and most people experience themselves as a body. Even the mind is forgotten after age 30. No one reads anymore, no one writes, no one teaches, no one learns. The mind is forgotten. It is not nourished. It's not expanded. No new input. The minimum output required. The mind is not fed. It's not awakened. It is lulled, dulled. You do everything you can to disengage it. TV, movies, pulp, paperbacks, whatever you do, don't think. So most people live a life on a body level. Feed the body, clothe the body, give the body stuff. Most people haven't read a good book, a book from which they can learn something in years. But they can tell you the entire TV schedule for the week and the entire soccer, football schedule as well for the week. There is something extraordinary said in that. The truth is, most people don't want to have to think. They elect leaders, they support governments, they adopt religions requiring no independent thought. Make it easy for me, tell me what to do. Most people want that. Where do I sit? When do I stand? How should I salute? When do I pay? What do you wish me to do? What are the rules? Where are my boundaries? Tell me. I'll do it. Somebody just tell me. Then they get disgusted, disillusioned. They followed all the rules. They did as they were told. What went wrong? When it did it turned sour. Why did it fall apart? It fell apart the moment you abandoned your mind, the greatest creative tool you ever had. It's time to make friends with your mind again. Be a companion to it. It's felt so alone. Be a nourisher of it. It's been so starved. Some of you, a small minority, have understood that you have a body and a mind. You have treated your mind well. Still, even among those of you who honor your mind and things of the mind, few have learned to use the mind at more than one tenth its capacity. If you knew of what your mind is capable, you would never cease to partake of its wonders and its powers. And if you think the number of you who balance your life between your body and your mind is small, the number who see yourselves as the three-party beings, body, mind, and spirit, is minuscule. Yet, you are three-party beings. You are more than your body, and are more than a body with a mind. Are you nurturing your soul? Are you even noticing it? Are you healing it or hurting it? Are you growing or withering? Are you expanding or contracting? Is your soul as lonely as your mind? Is it even more neglected? And when was the last time you felt your soul being expressed? When was the last time you cried with joy, wrote poetry, made music, danced in the rain, baked a pie, painted anything, fixed something that was broken, kissed a baby, held a cat to your face? I always do that. Hiked a hill, swam naked, walked at sunrise, played the harmonica, talked till dawn, made love for hours on a beach, in the woods, communed with nature, searched for God. When was the last time you sat alone with the silence, traveling to the deepest part of your being? When was the last time you said hello to your soul? When you live as a single-faceted creature, you become deeply mired in matters of the body: money, sex, power, possessions, physical stimulations and satisfactions, security, fame, financial gain. When you live as a dual-faceted creature, you broaden your concerns to include the matters of the mind: companionship, creativity, stimulation of new thoughts, new ideas, creation of new goals, new challenges, personal growth. When you live as a three-party being, you come at last into balance with yourself. Your concerns include matters of the soul, spiritual identity, life purpose, relationship to God, path of evolution, spiritual growth, ultimate destiny. As you evolve to higher and higher states of consciousness, you bring to full realization every aspect of your being. Yet evolution does not mean dropping some aspects of self in favor of others. It simply means expanding focus, turning away from almost exclusive involvement with one aspect toward genuine love and appreciation for all aspects. Then why do so many teachers expose a complete abstinence from sex? Because they do not believe that humans can achieve a balance. They believe the sexual energy and the energy surrounding otherworldly experiences is too powerful to simply moderate, to bring into balance. They believe abstinence is the only way to spiritual evolution, rather than merely one possible result of it. Yet, isn't it true that some beings who are highly evolved have given up sex? Good question. Salido aliens, why are they abstain from sex? Not in the classic sense of the words to give up. It is not a forced letting go of something you still want, but no is no good to have. It's more of a simple releasing, a movement away from, as one pushes oneself away from the second helping of the dessert. Not because the dessert's no good, not even because it's no good for you, but simply because, wonderful as it was, you have had enough. When you can drop your involvement with sex for that reason, you may want to do so. Then again, you may not. You may never decide that you have had enough and may always want this experience in balance with the other experiences of your being. That's okay, that's alright. The sexually active are no less qualified for enlightenment, no less spiritually evolved than the sexually inactive. What enlightenment and evolution do? This thing keeps on drop. Okay. When you can drop involvement with sex for that reason, you may want to do so. Then again, you may not. You may never decide that you have had enough, and may always want this experience and balance with the other experiences of your being. That's okay. That's alright. The sexually active are no less qualified for enlightenment, no less spiritually evolved than the sexually inactive. Not in the classic sense of the words to give up. It is not a forced letting go of something you still want, but you know is no good to have. It's more of a simple releasing, a movement away from, as one pushes oneself away from the second helping of dessert. Not because the dessert's no good, not even because it's no good for you, but simply because, wonderful as it was, you have had enough. What enlightenment and evolution do cause you to drop is your addiction to sex, your deep need to have the experience, your compulsive behaviors. Exactly. That is already the mental disease to need sex so much. So too, your preoccupation with money, power, security, possessions, and other experiences of the body will vanish. Yet, your genuine appreciation for them will not and should not. Appreciation for all of life is what honors the process I have created. Disdain for life or any of its joys, even the most basic physical ones, is disdain for me, the creator. The disdain of have created another type of being, is it? One that students and needs certain things, sometimes even profane. For when you call my creation unholy, what do you call me? Yet, when you call my creation sacred, you sanctify your experience of it, and me as well. Not everything that's sanctified is very pleasant to do or to see. Certain thing they call sacred, but is it sanctified? Is it pleasant? I don't think so. I tell you this, I have created nothing disdainful, and as Shakespeare said, nothing is evil. Last thinking make it so. I don't think so. I'm sorry, I don't buy that, and I don't go to follow this. I don't want to go wrong. Sorry. This leads me to some other final questions about sex. Is any kind of sex between consenting adults okay? Yes. I mean, even kinky sex, even loveless sex, even gay sex. Ooh. So, this leads me to some other final questions about sex. Is any kind of sex between consenting adults okay? Yes. I mean, even kinky sex, even loveless sex, even gay sex. Yeah, okay, enjoy first, pay later. Enjoy first, pay later, tell you. First, let's be once again clear that nothing is disapproved of by God. But God, you mean Lucifer, is it? Lucifer. I do not sit here in judgment, calling one actions good and another evil. As you know, I have discussed this at some length in Book 1. Now, within the context of what serves you or disserves you on your path of evolution, only you can decide that. There is a broad-based guideline, however, upon which most evolved souls have agreed. No actions which causes hurt to another leads to rapid evolution. There is a second guideline as well. No actions involving another may be taken without the other agreements and permission. That's good. That's true and good. Now let us consider the questions you have just asked within the context of these guidelines. Kink sex? Well, if it hurts no one and is done with everyone's permission, what reason would anyone have to call it wrong? Loveless sex? Sex for the sake of sex? Has been debated from the beginning of time. I often think whenever I hear these questions that I would like to go into a room full of people someday and say, everybody here who's never had sex outside of a relationship of deep, lasting, committed, abiding love, raise your hand. Loveless sex, sex for the sake of sex, has been debated from the beginning of time. I often think whenever I hear these questions that I would like to go into a room full of people someday and say, everybody here who's never had sex outside of a relationship of deep, lasting, committed, abiding love, raise your hand. I don't think that sex has nothing to do with love. I'm sorry, I don't buy that. I never bought, even within marriage. No such thing. Let me just say this. Loveless anything is not the fastest way to the goddess. Whether it's loveless sex or loveless spaghetti and a meatballs, if you have prepared the feast and not consume it without love, you are missing the most extraordinary part of the experience. But this is what humans do, sex without love. Most of them are doing this. Most, at least 98-99% of them are doing that. Love without sex, or sex without love, because love is without sex, so they are doing sex without love. Is it wrong to miss that? Here again, wrong may not be the operative word. Disadvantageous would be closer, given that you desire to evolve into a higher spiritual being as rapidly as you can. Gay sex? So many people want to say that I am against gay sexuality or the acting out of it. Yet I make no judgment on this or any other choice you make. People want to make all kinds of value judgments about everything, and I kind of spoil the party. I won't join them in those judgments, which is especially disconcerting to those who say that I originated them. Yeah, I think that okay for each one, as long as there's consent and with that people will, everybody's willing, so let it be, isn't it? Also, what cannot be allowed is pedophilia and rape. That one is sacrilege. This one is abhorrent, and also zoophilia, pedophilia, rape. These three things are abhorrent. The others, what people want to do with their bodies, up to them. If I have a gay son also, I would be happy for him. He want that, okay, it's your life. Or a lesbian daughter. Well, I'd rather they be lesbian than be a Trump. So, gay sex. So many people want to say that I am against gay sexuality and or the acting out of it. Yet I make no judgment on this or any other choice you make. People want to make all kinds of value judgments about everything, and I kind of spoil the party. I won't join them in those judgments, which is especially disconcerting to those who say that I originated them. Do everything, that's human. Do everything, then blame the devils and God. I do observe this. There was once a time when people thought that marriage between people of different races was not only inadvisable but against the law of God. That's no. Oh my God. So me and my ex-husband he was sinning all the time because he's Asian and I'm Latin America. So my God, he's like he's not a Native American, but he looks like a Native American. But because there's no such thing as Native Americans, are all Asian people. They came from Asia to the Americas. I knew it since the 80s. I do observe this. There was once a time when people thought that marriage between people of different races was not only inadvisable but against the law of God. Amazingly, some people still think this. They pointed to the Bible as the authority, even as they do for the authority on questions surrounding homosexuality. People weird. You mean is it okay for people of different races to join together in marriage? What? You are kidding me. What? No. This is absurd to even ask this. My God. What? The question is absurd, but nothing nearly as absurd as some people's certainty that the answer is no. Other questions on homosexuality equally absurd. You decide. I have no judgment about that or anything. I know you wish that I did. That would make your lives a lot easier, yeah, because they will blame everything on the entity. They will not take up responsibility, and then they will make it easier for themselves and blame. Oh, let's blame the devil or God or whatever. No decisions to make, no tough calls. Everything decided for you. Nothing to do but obey. Not much of a life, at least in terms of creativity, of self-empowerment. But what's the heck? No stress either. Correct. Let me ask you some questions about sex and children. At what age is it appropriate to allow children to become aware of sexuality as life experience? Oh no, now it's become very out of I don't know, it's getting out of boundaries here. To me, 16 above would be okay. Children are aware of themselves as sexual beings, which to say as human beings, from the outset of their lives. What many parents on your planet now do is try to discourage them from noticing that. If a baby hand goes to the wrong place, you move it away. If a tiny child begins to find moments of self-pleasure in its innocent delights with its own body, you react in horror and pass that sense of horror onto your child. The child wonders, what did I do? What did I do? Mommy is mad. What did I do? With your race of beings, it has not been a question of when you introduce your offspring to sex. It has been a question of when you stop demanding that they deny their own identity as sexual beings. Somewhere between the ages of 12 and 17, most of you give up the fight already and say, essentially, although naturally, not with words. You don't speak of these things. Okay, now you can notice that you have sexual parties and sexual things to do with them. No, no, no. I don't agree with that. That's nonsense. I really don't agree. Look at around so many dysfunction, so many abuses against children. Only because some people think that a devil or a God allows it, you know. And then 60-year-old, 70-year-old great grandpa marry a 9-year-old girl, 12-year-old girl, make her pregnant, and she dies during labor. Is it okay? No, it's not okay. It's hell on earth. Yet by this time the damage has been done. Your children have been shown for 10 years or more that they are to be ashamed of those body parts. Some are not even told the proper name for them. They hear everything from wee wee to your bottom to words some of you must strain mightily to invent, all to avoid simply saying penis or vagina. Having thus gotten every clear that all things having to do with those parts of the body are to be hidden, not spoken of, denied, your offspring then explode into puberty, not knowing at all what to make of what's going on with them. They have had no preparation at all. Of course, they then act miserable, responding to their newest and most urgent urges awkwardly, if not inappropriately. Well, just play with themselves. So what's the problem? Better than go around, engage in irresponsible sexual acts, and then get pregnant. This is not necessary, nor do I observe it as saving your offspring. Far too many of whom enter their adult lives with sexual taboos, inhibitions, and hang-ups to beat the band. Now, in enlightened societies, offspring are never discouraged, reprimanded, or corrected when they begin to find early delight in the nature of their very being. Nor is the sexuality of their parents, that is, the identity of their parents as sexual beings, particularly avoided or necessarily hidden. Naked bodies, whether of the parents or the children or their siblings, are seen and treated as being totally natural, totally wonderful, and totally okay, not as the things of which to be ashamed. They are talking about the tribal shamanic people of South America. Sexual functions are also seen and treated as totally natural, totally wonderful, and totally okay. In some societies, parents couple in full view of their offspring. Oh no! And what could give children a greater sense of the beauty and the wonder and the pure love and the total okayness of the sexual expression of love than this? For parents are constantly modeling the rightness and the wrongness of all behaviors, and children pick up subtle and not so subtle signals from their parents about everything through what they see their parents thinking, saying, and doing. I could go my whole life without having seen my parents have sex. It doesn't even bother me. But I have seen my close friend parents having sex with the open door. Back then I was 8-year old, 7-year old, and I went to call my friend to play, and I kind of enter the hall, and the hall was facing the bedroom, and kind of I thought I saw noises there. I turned left and I saw them, but it's okay. They are father and mother, so what? But my parents I never saw. As noted earlier, you may call some societies pagan. They are shaman, or primitive. Yet it is observable that in such societies rape and crimes of passion are visually non-existent. Prostitution is laughed at as being absurd, and sexual inhibitions and dysfunctions are unheard of. Yeah, but pedophilia is there. The girls they go through rites of passages in Africa or South America or throughout Latin America. They have this rite of passages. Girls are given to the shaman. The shaman is the first to have her. The pajé, the village head, the chief are the first to have the girl. Sometimes the girls are 11, 12 year old. And it's okay? No, I don't think it's okay. And the same goes for those who are very religions who for pedophilia and polygamy. No, 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 I don't agree with that. Whoever want to fall, but I don't agree with that. While such openness is not recommended just now for your own society and all but the most extraordinary of settings, it would no doubt be far too culturally stigmatizing. It's time that the so-called modern civilizations on your planet do something to end the repression, guilt, and shame which too often surrounds and characterizes the totality of a society's sexual expression and experience. No sense that they can do without it lah. Better just shout to law it. I mean, abolish it. Suggestions, ideas. Stop teaching children from the very beginning of their lives that things having to do with the very natural functioning of their bodies are shameful and wrong. Discontinue demonstrating to your offspring that anything sexual is to be hidden. Allow your children to see and observe the romantic side of you. A romantic, give a rose, man. Give a rose. Kiss on the cheek. Kiss the hands. Kiss the forehead. Why must you go there and probe each other? And applaud each other in front of the children? For what? There's no sense. Allow your children to see and observe the romantic side of you. Let them see you hugging, touching, gently fondling. Let's see them that their parents love each other. Can you love each other by helping one another, not fondling or do this nonsense or make up in front of the children? Let them see that their parents love each other and that showing their love physically is something that is very natural and very wonderful. It would surprise you to know in how many families such a simple lesson has never been taught. Do this to your children and I see your daughter by the age of 9 already go on hit. Because mommy and daddy do that, so I gonna do. Oh, just watch. When your children begin to embrace their own sexual feelings, curiosities and urges, cause them to connect this new and expanding experience of themselves with the inner sense of joy and celebration, not guilt and shame. And for heaven's sake, stop hiding your bodies from your children. It's okay if they see you swimming in the nude in a country water hole on a camping trip or in their backyard pool. That's okay. Don't go into a apoplexy should they catch a glimpse of you moving from the bedroom to the bathroom without a robe. End this frantic need to cover up, close off, shut it down any opportunity. Nudity is one thing, but sexual things are another. Nudity is okay. That all of us were born naked, not with Prada or Bottini or Giordano. However, innocent for your child. However innocent for your child to be introduced to you as a being with your own sexual identity. Children think their parents are asexual because their parents have portrayed themselves that way. I don't think so. Then where the child come from? The husband let it go on the mother feet and then the flies did the rest. They then imagine that they must be this way because all children emulate their parents. Therapists will tell you that some grown up offspring have, to this very day, the most difficult time. Imagine the parents actually doing it, which of course fuels this offspring. Now patients in the therapist office with rage or guilt or shame because they naturally decide to do it and they can't figure out what's wrong. Oh my gosh, my gosh! My gosh, what a drama! Have I read again? Children think that their parents are sexual because their parents have portrayed themselves that way. They then imagine that they must be this way because all children emulate their parents. I didn't emulate my parents. A lie. I also have been children. And I didn't emulate my parents. You are lying. Therapists will tell you that some grown up offspring have to this very day because he's stuck it up people and then blame the parents. The most difficult time, imagine the parents actually doing it, which of course feels this offspring now patients in the therapist office. What? Tell that some grown up offspring have to this very day the most difficult time, imagine their parents actually doing it, which of course feel this offspring now patients in the therapist office with rage or guilt or shame because they naturally decide to do it and they can't figure out what's wrong with them. Oh please, now don't come with this idea of make the so the children want to live the parents together. Oh, that's not, that's satanic. This is Luciferian behavior. This is animalistic. Not even animal. The animals are better yet. This is satanic behavior. That's nonsense. Oh my God, go for a therapist office because daddy and mommy didn't teach them about sex. Oh God, go walk, man, go walk. Go find something to do in your life, you lazy bum. Looking for problem here, looking for scapegoat to justify your sense of irresponsibility. You are just an irresponsible kid. I also have been a kid and not like that. Why can't any of you? Oh my God, just because I don't see daddy and mommy having sex, now I'm going to therapist office, psychiatrist. Go get a life, man. So talk about sex with your children. For what? The life will teach them. Laugh about sex with children. You don't even have it to. They can learn by themselves. Then idiots. Teach them and allow them. I never asked my mother, Mom, where kids come from? Daddy, where children come from? Daddy, is it okay for how children come from? Of course, there's once a time when it was my neighbor. I was about 4 years old. I still remember because I have very good memory. My memory is very superb, super. Those I was outside there. I was a very curious girl from young age, so I was always stuck with my mother. My mom was carrying me, and my mother was talking with the neighbors. Okay, the neighbors was in a wait for a trip, was traveling, and they was with bags with luggage. And then my mother say, I heard my mother say, where you all go? Oh, you are going for honeymoon. Then my mother, oh how nice, how beautiful, enjoy you guys. Then the neighbors go return and ask my mom, do you want anything, sweetheart? She come to my mother and me and then touch me and the cheek and ask, do you want anything from the trip, sweetheart? Then my mind was about sweet honeymoon. So I told the lady, I want a bowl full of honey. Then everybody burst into laughter because kids always will be kids. So I didn't go about ask my mother and my daddy, my father, how children are made. But of course, my sisters will tell me. Two of my older sisters tell me, I asked them, the children come from heaven, and then my sister and my sister went, no, no, they come from a very large bird. The bird comes down to the in our on top of our roof and then deposit the children. And I say, oh, is it? Oh, I want that bird. Then my sister say, why? Because I want a baby. I want a brother, little brother and a sister, because I was the last of 9 children, and I was around 3 to 4 year old, and I say I want a baby. I say I want they had to bring a baby for me. Then my sister start to laugh. So you see, last time we were very innocent, okay, and we were very happy with, because all about purity of heart, purity, modesty. Nowadays, you ask a 2 year old how is sex, how to do it, and they know already. They will tell you everything, because the parents are having sex. Even it's not even the father or the mother. If you are another lovers, they bring you inside the house and show to their children. Is it okay? I never thought it's okay. Never. My parents never showed me nothing about sex and never taught me anything about sex, and I'm okay with it, because as I grew up at school, I have learned, not say in school, but my friends will tell me. I'll ask, so the girls who knew better will tell me. And then when I go to grade 6, grade 7, um, there's a class just for girls where they will teach everything about conception, about how to make a baby, about how to use the absorbent, the naps, the sanitary napkins for girls, everything. They will teach a girl from the age of 10-year-old, okay? No, 11-year-old above, when the girls already start to having their menstruation. Not the boy. The boys was not allowed inside that classroom. So they will teach us all. You don't need to come to mom and dad and ask, because we respect our mom and dad, and we hold them very high. They were like a semi-god to us, and we live in a better life this way, rather than what we see today. A total perdition. A world full of nonsenses, all kind of dirty things. When the children is 3-year-old, 4-year-olds have seen their mom and their daddy with other people having sex inside the house. Is it okay? No, I don't think so. Um, so talk about sex with your children, laugh about sex with your children, teach them, allow them, and remind them and show them how to celebrate their sexuality. No, don't do that. That's what you can do for your children. No. It's a Luciferian kind of advice. And you do this from the day they are born, with the first kiss, the first hug. Yeah, but not an appropriate first kiss and a first hug. No unappropriated. Because this already turned to incest, pedophilia, incest, and rape. No. The first hug, the first touch they receive from you, and that they see you receive from each other. Oh my God! It is a, how to say, it is a recommend that we do this to our children. Down, this is the new age nonsense. This is the satanic new age, Aquarians new age movement. This is the new age and Aquarian movement, and this man is a shameless man to put brushes to the masses. A shameless man, old man, supposed to be ashamed of himself. I feel like poke by seeing this. Thank you, and I still say thank you. What they needed. Thank you, your head. Thank you. I was hoping that you would bring some sanity to this. Sanity is not to do it, you idiot. This is insanity. This is not sanity. This is insanity. You're supposed to be ashamed of yourself to put brushes to the mass. Luckily there is me here to undo all this. But one final question. When is it appropriate to specifically introduce or discuss or describe sexuality to your children? They will tell you when that time has come. This I will never tell my parents. It will never come the time, because I was never ready. Each child will make it clear unmistakably. If you are really watching and are listening, it comes in increments actually. It arrives incrementally, and you will know the age appropriate way of dealing with the incremental arrival of your child's sexuality if you are clear, if you are finished with your own unfinished business about all of this. How do you get to that place? Do what takes, enroll in a seminar, see a therapist, everything therapist. Join a group, read a book, meditate on it, don't meditate, the psychology, discover each other, most of all discover each other as a male and female again. Discover, revisit, regain, reclaim your own sexuality. Now discover each other from male and male. Discover, revisit, regain, reclaim your own sexuality, celebrate that, enjoy that, own that, own your own joyful sexuality, and then you can allow and encourage your children to own theirs. No, 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 no. Again, thank you. Now, this means a sicko menu, no sicko. Again, thank you. Now, getting away from the consideration of children and I'm moving back to the larger subject of human sexuality. I have to ask you one more question, and it may seem impertinent and it may seem flippant even, but I can't let this dialogue end without asking it. Well, stop apologizing, just ask it. Fine, is there such a thing as too much sex? This man is a sick man. No, of course not, but there is such a thing as too much of a need for sex. I suggest this: enjoy everything, needing nothing. Including people like me, you idiot, I'm always alone. And I love to be alone. Including people, especially people, needing someone is the fastest way to kill a relationship. That's me. That is me. I don't need nobody. I'm independent. Not even for company, not even to talk with. I'm here just for the purpose of teach and expose something or undo a wrong. But we all like to feel needed. You are needy man. You. Need man, appetite one. Then stop it. Like to feel unneeded instead. For the greatest gift you can give someone is the strength and the power not to need you. To need you for nothing. That's correct. Very correct. Okay, I'm ready to move on. You have promised to talk about some of the larger aspects of life on earth. And ever since your comments about life in the United States, I've wanted to talk more about all of this. Yes, good. I want book 2 to address some of the larger issues facing your planet. And there is no larger issues than the education of your offspring. We are not doing this well, are we? I can tell by the way you brought that up. Well, of course, everything is relative to what you say you are trying to do. No, you are not doing it well. Everything I say here, everything I have included in this discussion so far and have caused to be placed in this document must be put into their context. I'm not making judgments of rightness or wrongness, goodness or badness. I simply make observations of your effectiveness relative to what you say you are trying to do. I understand that. I know you say that you do, but the time may come, even before this dialogue is finished, when you will accuse me of being judgmental. I would never accuse you of that. I know better. No, you are lying. You will. Knowing better has not stopped the human race from calling me a judgmental God in the past, and it is. Well, it will stop me. We shall see. You wanted to talk about education. Indeed, I observe that most of you have misunderstood the meaning, the purpose and the function of education, to say nothing of the process by which it is best undertaken. That's a huge statement and I need some help with it. Most of the human race has decided that the meaning and the purpose and the function of education is to pass on knowledge, that to educate someone is to give them knowledge, generally the accumulated knowledge of one's particular family, clan, tribe, society, nation, and a world. Yet, education has very little to do with knowledge. Or, you could have told me clearly. What does it have to do with then? Wisdom. Wisdom? Yes. Okay, I give up. What's the difference? Wisdom is knowledge applied. So we aren't supposed to try to give our offspring knowledge. We are supposed to try to give our offspring wisdom. First of all, don't try to do anything, do it. Secondly, don't ignore knowledge in favor of wisdom. That would be fatal. Wisdom to teach children about sexuality? No, I don't think so. On the other hand, don't ignore wisdom in favor of knowledge. That would also be fatal. It would kill education. On your planet, it is killing it. We are ignoring wisdom in favor of knowledge. In most cases, yes. How are we doing this? You are teaching your children what to think instead of how to think. Explain, please. Certainly. When you give your children knowledge, you are telling them what to think. That is, you are telling them what they are supposed to know. What you want them to understand is true. When you give your children wisdom, you do not tell them what to know or what is true, but rather how to get to their own truth. But without knowledge, there can be no wisdom. Agreed. That's why I have said you cannot ignore knowledge in favor of wisdom. A certain amount of knowledge must be passed on from one generation to the next, obviously, but as little knowledge as possible. The smaller amount, the better. Maybe we should stop at the tertiary school, or below that, secondary school. But as little knowledge as possible. The smaller amount, the better. I think secondary school is enough. Let the child discover for itself. Know this: knowledge is lost. Wisdom is never forgotten. So our school should teach as little as possible. Your school should turn their faces around. Right now, they are focused highly on knowledge and skills, and paying precious little attention to wisdom. Classes in critical thinking, problem solving, and logic are considered by many parents to be threatening. They want such classes out of the curriculum. Yeah, that's correct. A lot of overbearing parents out there when it comes to education. As well, they might, if they want to protect their way of life, because children who are allowed to develop their own critical thinking processes are very much likely to abandon their parents' morals, standards, and entire way of life. That's correct. In order to protect your way of life, you have built an education system based upon the development in the child of memories, not abilities. Children are taught to remember facts and fictions, the fictions each society has set up about itself, rather than given the ability to discover and create their own truths. Programs calling for children to develop abilities and skills rather than memories are soundly ridiculed by those who imagine that they know what a child needs to learn. Yet, what you have been teaching your children has led your world toward ignorancy, not away from it. Our schools don't teach fictions, they teach facts. Now, you are lying to yourself just as you lie to your children. We lie to our children? Of course you do. Pick up any history book and see. Your stories histories are written by people who want their children to see the world from a particular point of view, correct? An attempt to explain the historical account with a larger view of the facts is needed yet and called revisionist. You will not tell the truth about your past to your children lest they see you for what you really are. Most history is written from the point of view of that segment of your society you would call white Anglo-Saxon Protestant males. When females or blacks or others in the minority say, "Hey, wait a minute, this isn't how it happened," you have left out a huge part here. You cringe and holler and demand that the revisionists stop trying to change your textbooks. You don't want your children to know how it really happened. You want them to know how you justified what happened from your point of view. Shall I give you an example of this? Please. In the United States, you do not teach your children everything there is to know about your country's decision to drop atom bombs on 2 Japanese cities, killing or maiming hundreds of thousands of people. Rather, you give them the facts as you see them and as you want them to see them. How about the Japanese go around Southeast Asian killing and maiming, and the most atrocious way in rape and plundering? How about that? Are you saying that? Totally no, aren't you? You Luciferian Enki, so one-sided, so biased, aren't you, Enki? Huh? Aren't you? When an attempt is made to balance this point of view with the point of view of another, in this case the Japanese, you scream, Japanese throw force one force bomb in Pearl Harbor. So what happened was that there was a Jew, Anglo-Saxon Jew, who was made in a bomb. I forgot his name. He made a bomb and he wanted to try it, and so Japan was the scapegoat to try that bomb on. You scream and you rage and you rant and you rave and jump up and down, and that meant that the schools don't dare even think about presenting such data in their historical review of this important event. Thus you have not taught history at all, but politics. History or history is supposed to be an accurate and full account of what actually happened. Politics is never about what actually happened. Politics is always one's point of view about what happened. History reviews politics, justifies. History uncovers, tells all. Politics covers, tells one side. Politicians hate history. History truly written, and a history truly written speaks not so well of politicians either. Yet you are wearing the emperor's new clothes, for your children ultimately see right through you. Children taught to critically think look at your history and say, "My, how my parents and elders have deluded themselves." This you cannot tolerate, so you drum it out of them. You do not want your children to have the most basic facts. You want them to have your take on the facts. Children. Look at the children nowadays. All they think what? Branded goods, video game, nonsense, sexual stuff, nonsense, and just enjoy their parents' money. What they think about that? Nothing. They don't think. It's some older people who are thinking much broader and ample than the so-called youth. What a nonsense you say. What's so great about the children anyway? Not all of them are good. Probably so this new generation, all like devil, all is reptilians, all kind of alien to me. They're not even human. It's not like me and my sisters. Get lost. What's so good about them? I think you are exaggerating here. I think you have taken this argument a little so far, and he is always out of the top because he's too frustrated. He or she. Really, most people in your society do not even want their children to know the most basic facts of life. Why should they? It's at least sex. You can take all the sex to yourself as reptilian aliens. People went bananas when schools simply started teaching children how the human body functions. Don't have to. Yeah, teach them how. Okay, for what you want, you have the sexual or no sexual. How you have your groins. For what you have your groin, your genitals. To do your biological, your physiological functions, like you need to go toilet and then you need to evacuate yourself. Okay, that's for what you need your genitals, huh? It's not for going around in a play fit and let people poking on it and do stupid thing. If it one big stupid adult want to do, let's say 29, 26 above, up to you, disgrace, go and do. But don't teach this to the young idiots one. Don't teach the stupid young people. Don't teach them. They are there to learn how to wash their own plate and in cutleries, clean the house, clean their room, go study, later go walk and get out of the house. This is what children should do, like I have done myself. Huh? At age 16, I was on my own. I was walking on my own to survive. I didn't need my parents for nothing to teach me anything. Every time when I talk bad about him, the thing goes off. The this screen that the screen nonsense recorder goes off. His own poor pills, he's doing. So children, he say, really, most people in our society do not even want their children to know the most basic fact of life. People went bananas when school simply started teaching children how to the human body functions. And why should they? I want to say that people need to know that their genitals are for doing your physiological needs, like going to toilets, not for someone else to go, a man coming out poke in your genitals or whatever. You need them so that you can do your physiological needs, which is evacuating and cleanse your body, cleanse your kidneys, huh? Cleanse your kidneys and your liver and your intestines, and not to teach them how to do stupid thing for pleasure. That's no sense. Is this what you want to teach the stupid aliens, like a new generation of so-called children here on this planet? You are twisted, man. You are very, very twisted. Now you are not supposed to tell children how AIDS is transmitted or how to stop it from being transmitted, unless of course you tell them from particular point of view how to avoid AIDS. Then it is alright, but simply give them the facts and let them decide for themselves, not on your life. Children are not ready to decide these things for themselves. They have to be properly guided. Correct by a good parents, but they're guiding them. Have you looked at your worldly lately? Although it's not easy to guide this stress, when you try to stop them from doing stupid things, they want to commit suicide. Bloody idiots. What about it? That's how you have guided your children in the past. Have you looked at your worldly lately? What about it? That's how you have guided your children in the past. No, it's how we misguided them. If the world is in rotten shape today, in a main way, it's not because we have tried to teach our children the old values, but because we have allowed them to be taught all this new fungled stuff. Correct. Because look at my sisters and brothers, all from the 50s, only me and my brother from the 60s, but we all grown up to be responsible to help my mother, to help our mothers and not to give them trouble. And we didn't have a father either. My parents Divorced when I was young. I was still a kid, like a 5 going to 6 year old. Okay, and well, you did pretty well. You have a very nice childhood, very happy. And we don't need all this nonsense to be taught about sex. That's nonsense, man. And the school also is okay. It's 4 hours for school only. We come back, we help our mothers and my mother, of course, and go around play with my neighbors. Very good life. That's how I have got your children in the past. No, it's how we misguided them. If the world is in a rotten shape today, and in many ways it is not because we have tried to stop our children the old values, but because we have allowed them to be taught all this newfangled stuff. Correct. Now you say something, huh? Be a man and be of moral values. Tell the truth. You really believe that, don't you? Why should we, Reptilian? Why should we not believe? You think that you can guide the stupid people and misguide them here? Not guide, misguide everybody. Everybody have to think for your nonsense. Maybe the majority will, but not most of us. Not the Virgo people, at least. Not all the Virgos out there, at least. Because we Virgos are here to tell the truth. You really believe that, don't you? You are damned right. I really believe it. If we would just keep our children limit the 3 hours instead of feeding them all this critical thinking garbage, would be a lot better off today. If we'd kept so-called sex education out of the classroom and in the home where it belonged, we wouldn't be seeing teenagers having babies and single mothers at 17 apply for welfare. Kids having kids. In a world run amok. In an older man, 70, 60-year-old having sex with young girls. If we have insisted our youngest ones live by our moral standards, rather than letting them go off and create their own, we wouldn't have turned our once strong, vibrant nation into a pitiable imitation of its former self. Good, that's the Virgo man I want to see. Huh? And then we wouldn't see older men 70, 65-year-old in the name of a religion marry 12-year-old, 10-year-old girl to kill them, the bastard, the disgraceful, accursed men. I see, yeah, you see indeed, reptilian aliens. I think that men of us is stupid. No. The majority, yes, like for you the majority, yeah, but not some, not we Virgo. And one more thing, don't stand there and tell me how we are supposed to suddenly see ourselves as wrong. For what we did at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we ended the war, for God's sake. We saved thousands of lives. They don't see how Australian and the British went to Southeast Asia to save these people from the wrath of the Japs. The Japs on Zaraudi run amok, killing, raping, do atrocity, throwing babies in the air and then shooting with a rifle. Okay, invading houses and takes girls and taking girls to rape and kill. Okay, putting water hose into people's anus and then you own the water to kill them and kill them in a mass and ask them to dig their graves and killing them. Why they don't see that? Who saved them? Who saved them? Not the kids as young as 15-year-old white boys. They don't see that. They don't say thank you. They don't say thank you to these people. Why? Because Luciferians and Ki, they control that part of the world. And one more thing, don't stand there and tell me how we are supposed to suddenly see ourselves as wrong for what we did at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As if Japanese were saying, Japan so sane that they throw a force bomb at Pearl Harbor first. We ended the war, for God's sake. We saved thousands of lives on both sides. It was the price of war. Nobody liked the decision, but it had to be made. I see. Yeah, you see, indeed. Yeah, you see, it was just like that all the rest of those El Pinco liberal commies. You want us to revise our history? Alright. You want us to revise ourselves right out of existence. Then you liberals can have your way at last. Take over the world, create a decadent society. This is what Lucifer is one. Distribute the wealth, power to the people, and all that crap, except that's never gotten eyes anywhere. What we need is a return to the past, to the values of our forefathers. That's what we need. Correct, correct, correct. Done now? Yeah, I'm done. How did I do? Pretty good. That was really good. Yeah, but not the way of our forefathers, which was wrong. Come on. Many old men do that stupid thing, and the last thing we can do if we want the best for ourselves is to repeat their mistake of the past. After all, we need to learn from the past and not to repeat trash and the nonsense that our ancestors had done in the name of whatever. Yeah, I'm done. How did I do? Pretty good. That was really good. Well, when you've been around talking radio for a few years, it comes pretty easily. That's how people on your planet think. Is it? You bet it is. And not just in America. I mean, you could change the name of the country and change the name of the war. Insert inoffensive military action by any nation at any time in history. Doesn't matter. Everybody thinks they are right. Everyone knows it's the other person who's wrong. Forget about Hiroshima. Insert Berlin instead, or Bosnia. Everybody knows the old values are the ones which worked too. Everybody knows the world is going to hell, not just in America, all over. There's a hue and cry for a return to old values, correct. Very correct. And for a return to nationalism everywhere on the planet. I know there is. And what I've done here is try to articulate that feeling, that concern, that outrage. You did a good job, almost had me convinced. Well, what do you say to those who really do think like this? I say, do you really think things were better 30 years ago? No, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. And now why? Because the Lucifers were there already. These aliens outside, inside this beast who did all kind of atrocities back maybe in 10, 15,000 years ago. I say memory has poor vision. You remember the good of it and not the worst of it. It's natural, it's normal, but don't be deceived. Don't do some critical thinking and not just memorizing what others want you to think. To stay with our example, do you really imagine it was absolutely necessary to drop the atom bomb on Hiroshima? What do your American historians say about the many reports by those who claim to know more about what really happened, that the Japanese Empire had privately revealed to the United States its willingness to end the war before the bomb was dropped? How much of a part did revenge for the heart of Pearl Harbor play in the bombing decision? If you accept that dropping the Hiroshima bomb was necessary, why was it necessary to drop a second bomb? It could be, of course, that your own account of all this is correct. It could be that the American point of view on this, in all this, is the way it's actually happened. That is not the point of this discussion. The point here is that your educational system does not allow for critical thinking on these issues, or very many other issues for the matter. Can you imagine what would happen to social studies or history teacher in Iowa who asked the class the above questions, inviting and encouraging the students to examine and explore the issues in depth? and draw their own conclusion. Will they? What they know? They know nothing. They are blur, so far so blur. They know nothing. They even don't know all their state, the name of their own state. Where they don't even know where Cameroon is, where Bosnia is. They don't know where Colombia is even. This is the point. You don't want your young ones drawing their own conclusions. You want them to come to the same conclusions you came to. Thus, you doom them to repeat the mistakes to which your conclusions led you. But what about the statements made by so many people about old values and the disintegration of a society today? What about the incredible rise in teeny births or welfare mothers, or our world run amok? Your world has run amok. On this I will agree, but your world has not run amok because of what you have allowed your schools to teach your children. It has run amok because of what you have not allowed them to teach. You have not allowed your schools to teach that love is all there is. You have not allowed your schools to speak of a love which is unconditional. Hell, we won't even allow our religions to speak of that. That's right. And you will not allow your offspring to be taught to celebrate themselves in their bodies, their humanity, and their wondrous sexual selves. And you will not allow your children to know that they are first and foremost spiritual beings inhabiting a body. Nor do you treat your children as spirits coming into bodies. In societies where sexuality is openly spoken of, freely discussed, joyously explained and experienced, there is virtually no sexual crime, only a tiny number of births which occur when they are not expected, and no illegitimate or unwanted births. In highly evolved societies, all births are blessings, and all mothers and all children have their welfare looked after. Indeed, the society would have it no other way. Like, look at the Muslim world, or many other, like India or South Asia or some part of Asia. Well, they don't have how to say they don't have much. They don't give you even the chance for uh, single mother to exist, because their society, their patriarchal society doesn't allow this to happen. Am I right? But yet there's still rape in there. There's still rape and sexual abuse. Even rape within the marriage in a pedophilia. So what's the point of this being talking here? What he's talking? What is he talking? He's full of excuses and nonsenses. When he talk about high level of the societies, aliens doesn't give birth, for God's sake. They don't give birth. That's why the mother is good, is treated okay, because she doesn't take care of the kids. Aliens mother not supposed to take care of their kids. The others are they are allowed to fend for themselves, or the whole clan, because they see themselves as a family, as a tribe. The tribe is allowed to take care of the kids, just like snakes give birth and then let the offspring to lead their own life. That's not the same about we humans. We give birth in at least most of us, not all. There's a percentage some Luciferian female who give birth in a throw anyhow, or don't take care. This one a Luciferian, this one a snake. This is another thing. It's another kind of creatures in a human body that we are talking about. But the majority of us female do take care of our children. I take care of 5. So in in societies where his story is not bent to the views of the strongest and most powerful, the mistakes of the past are openly acknowledged and never repeated. And once is enough for behaviors which are clearly self-destructive. In society where critical thinking, problem solving, and skills for living are taught, rather than facts simply memorized, and even so-called Justifiable actions of the past are held up to intense scrutiny. Nothing is accepted on face value. Now the son or daughter go wayward, go amok, and then what they have to do is to um, reach orgasm. Is this what he tried to say? Need to calm down. Just give them good dress down and that's it, and teach them the real value of life. Then all their nonsense of sexual desire will go. How would that work? Let's use our example from World War II. How would the school system teaching life skills rather than merely facts approach the historical episode at Hiroshima? For all sexual desire, there's a sink full of dish to be washed. There's a basket full of laundry to be washed. There is the floor to be cleaned. Your homework to be done. That's it. Your teachers would describe to the class exactly what happened there. They would include all the facts which led up to the event. They would seek the views of historians from both sides of the encounter, realizing that there is more than one point of view on everything. They would then not ask the class to memorize the facts of the matter. Instead, they would challenge the class. They would say, "Now, you've heard all about this event. You know all that came before and all that happened after. We have given you as much of the knowledge of this event as we could get our hands on. Now, from this knowledge, what wisdom comes to you if you were chosen to solve the problems which were being faced in those days, and which was solved by the dropping of the bomb? How would you solve them? Can you think of a better way?" Okay, oh sure, that's easy. Anybody can come up with the answers their way, with the benefits of hindsight. Anybody can look over their shoulder and say, "I would have done it differently." Then why don't you? I beg your pardon? I say, then why don't you? Why have you not looked over your shoulder, learned from your past and done it differently, correct? I'll tell you why. Because to allow your children to look at your past and analyze it critically, indeed to require them to do so as a part of their education, would be to run the risk of them disagreeing with how you did things. They will disagree in ways, of course, you just won't allow too much of it in your classrooms. So they have to take to the streets, wave signs, tear up draft cards, burn bras and flags, do whatever they can to get your attention, to get you to see. Your young people have been screaming at you. There must be a better way. Yet you do not hear them. You do not want to hear them, and you certainly don't want to encourage them in the classroom to start critically thinking about the facts you are giving them. Just get it. You say to them, "Don't come in here and tell us we have been doing it wrong. Just get that we have been doing it right." That's how you educate your children. That's what you've been calling education. That's correct also. Okay, but don't say just one side of the story. Say both sides. What the Japs have done to deserve that. Tell us both sides. But there are those who would say it's the young people and their crazy wacko liberal ideas who have taken this country and this world down the tubes, sent it to hell, push it to the edge of oblivion, destroyed our values-oriented culture, and replace it with do whatever you want to do, whatever feels good, morality which threatens to end our very way of life. That's correct also, I agree. And why they don't say the other side of the story? This is Luciferians. This is so biased and discriminative. The young people are destroying your way of life. The young people have always done that. Your job is to encourage it, not discourage it. It's not your young people who are destroying the rainforests. They are asking you to stop it. I don't think so. What they care? It's not your young people who are depleting your ozone layer. They are asking you to stop so much. They're asking so much that the floor there, the you know those gutter hole on the streets are filled with cans and packs of drinks done by the so-called young ones. They are asking you to stop it. It's not your young people who are exploiting the poor and sweatshops all over the world. They are asking you to stop. They are exploiting their maids at home. It's not your young people who are taxing you to death. They are. Many of them are taxing their older parents. Then using the money for war and machines of war. They are asking you to stop it. It's not your young people who are ignoring the problems of the weak and downtrodden. What they care? They don't care. As long as they are okay, they don't care for the animals, they don't care for the poor. It's not them who are caring either. And the downtrodden, letting hundreds of people die of starvation every day on a planet which is more than enough to feed everybody. They are asking you to stop it. They are not asking. They say, to hell, what I care. I have my money for McDonald's, for Burger King, for Starbucks. I have my money to school. I have my money for cinema. After friends, what do I care? The rest can go to hell. That's what your young Luciferian people are doing. Huh? It's not your young people who are engaging in the politics of deception and manipulation. They are asking you to stop it. It's not your young people who are sexually repressed, ashamed and embarrassed about their own bodies and passing on this shame and embarrassment to their offspring. Well, they are doing worse. They are bringing in men inside the house for their darling offspring to see. They are showing them how to have it 3 and 4 some. Oh, great glory word. They ask you to stop it. It's not your young people who have set up a value system which says that might is right in a world which solves problems with violence. They are asking you to stop so much that they are killing each other in a pubs, in a school. Oh, great. Nay, they are not asking you. They are begging you. No. They are begging you to give you more money, give them more money, more material stuff, more this and that. And in turn, they are giving nothing back. Okay? If the parents are poor, they will dishonor the parents. They will say, oh, no legacy for what? They're gonna respect you. After all, you're not going to leave me a legacy on material things. Why should I care? Why should I care for you? This is what the young Luciferians are thinking. Yet this is the young people who are violent. Young people who join gangs and kill each other. Correct. And being rude to the parents and killing animals just for pleasure and show on TikTok and YouTube. Young people who thumb their nose at law and order. At any kind of order. Young people who are driving us crazy. Correct. Very correct. And ask the others to go to hell. Is the young people who are seeing one elderly people standing on the bus. Okay, the bastard is still keeping on stopping me. It's not your young people who are engaged in the politics. Okay, I have to repeat. The poor of the weak and the downtrodden. Let hundreds of people die of starvation every day on a planet with more than enough to feed everybody. They are asking you to stop it. They're not you ask to stop it. They ask you to continue and give them more money and the rest can go to hell. It's not your young people who are engaged in the politics of deception and manipulation. They are asking you to stop it. It's not your young people who are sexually repressed. So what? So what's so bad about being sexually? Not you wanting something. It's not being sexually repressed. It's not choosing it because you don't need it. Ashamed and embarrassed about their own bodies and passing on this shame and embarrassment to their offspring. They are asking you to stop it. Yeah, because they want to stop so that they can have it and then show to their children it's nonsense. of having a different sexual partner and show their young children as young as 5, 6, 7 year old how to have this nonsense if you are the different partners. And worse yet, allow a man to come and probe their daughter, okay, and sexually molest their children. Oh, great glory, young people, Luciferian one, new generation of Luciferians. They are asking you to stop. It's not your young people who have set up a value system which says that might is right. Of course they are doing this. In a world which solves problems with violence, they are the first to be violent, you idiot. They are asking you to stop it. Bullshit. They are asking you to continue. They are even violent with their own parents. Their sons and daughters killing their own parents for intelligence and honesty's sake. Okay? Kill their children, kill their parents. Something that we have not done. They are asking you to stop it. No, they are not asking you. They are begging us to give them money. And they will say, you have left no legacy. What should I care for you? You have no legacy to pass for us. And a person is remembered by the legacy, the material legacy, the money that is given, passing to the descendants. To hell with all the Luciferians, I care. Yet, it is a young people who are violent, young people who join gangs and kill each other, correct? Young people who thumb their nose at law and order, at any kind of order. Young people who are driving us crazy, correct? They are good for nothing nowadays, good for nothing. I don't know why the idiots are having kids nowadays, total idiots. From the 7 decades, 70s onward, all are nonsense in this world. All no good people are being born. All reptilian aliens people being born from the 70s onward. When the cries and pleas of young people to change the world, what they want to change? What, man? For their own good. They are doing this for their own benefit, you moron. To change the world is not ahead and never heeded. When they see that the cause is lost, that you will have it your way no matter what. Young people who are not stupid, and neither are we stupid, will do the next best thing. If they can't beat you, they will join you. They'll not join us. Join us in what? They'll join us on maybe no sense to share the money, then they'll join us. If no money, they are not in. Your young people have joined you in your behaviors. Oh no, if they have joined my behavior, they will be hardworking, responsible, and a good son and a daughter. Why they don't join at this in this aspect and these stances? Why? Because they are not good. Your young people have joined you in their behavior. No, if they are violent, it's because you are violent. What a rubbish! We have taught this stress how to be good to children, how to be a good parent, be a good mother. I don't say about father, but mother who defend them in all way possible against abuse. Have introduced them to animal, how to care, nurture, and love animals and plants. And then they still don't want to follow. They don't want to follow. And then what we now to teach how to care for animals and plants and be good sons and daughters. Now what? Teaching violence. Hey, get lost, you. Because you are violent. If they are materialistic, it's because you are materialistic. So materialistic that the parents live in minimalist way. Materialistic is when you held parties, you always go clubby, party, go travels all the time. That our kids have a lot of jewelry, a lot of expensive clothes and gold. If the parents don't have, how come we are materialistic? Is now being materialistic one the basic for it and a place to stay and the bills to pay? Is it being materialistic? It was not this Lucifer, he himself who says that when we are in the body, we must also enjoy things that is for the body. When it's to pleasure in sex, because they can withdraw energy from the idiots who have sex. They say, oh, you must also follow the ways of the body and derive pleasures from it. But when it's come to things like, okay, I need to have at least one plate of food a day. We need to have enough to pay for our water and a bill, okay, or internet or whatever. Hmm? Is it asking too much? This is just the basic. Materialism is when we are always traveling. We are buying more cars than we have, more houses to show off, throwing parts that cost thousands of dollars. This is being materialistic and not being realistic. Being realistic is not the same as being materialistic. Being pragmatic is not the same as being materialistic, you moron. You have to your way no matter what. Young people who are not stupid will do the next best thing. They can't beat you. They're not join us. That's nonsense. You talk nonsense, are you? Your young people have joined you in your behavior. If they are violent because you are violent. If they are materialistic, rather I be violent. Oh, I wish I could have been violent. Maybe today they will be more humble. It's because you are acting crazy. If they are acting crazy because you are acting crazy, there's so many mother and father who are very simple people, and yet they themselves, the children, end up crazy, taking drugs. The mother have to work, the father have to work. They have no time for medicine. If they are using sex manipulatively, irresponsibly, shamefully, it's because they see you doing the same. What a nonsense. Some parents are married for a long time and yet the son and daughter grown up to be nothing. Being irresponsible, take drugs. Parents and mother don't take drugs, they take drugs. They do drinks. It's all the opposite. And when the mother is all this, the mother or father, whatever, when the mother and the father is good for nothing, irresponsible, do drugs, alcoholic, play with sex, they will turn another way around. You see how this is Repsilia talk rubbish. Irresponsibly, shamefully, it's because they see you doing the same. He's just find fault, they find excuses and to justify these young people being a Luciferian and being born alien, because they are aliens. They are not quite human, they are aliens. That's why they do what they do, because they are stupid aliens and Luciferians. The only difference between young people and older people is that young people do what they do out in the open. They do out in the open, not always. They hide from the parents. They keep secret of what they do, and they do things behind their parents' back. Older people hide their behaviors. Older people think that young people cannot see. What behavior? What behavior my mother have to hide from me? Huh? To cook, to clean, to go to the church, to pay her bills, to work in the plantation? She have to hide from me? This what a nonsense you're talking about, you idiot. And me too. Huh? Hide from this idiot son and daughter for what? That I have to work like a slave? Huh? That I have to be responsible? Or to be crook? Every time they always stop my things. Young people have shown you and your behavior. If they are violent, it's because they are violent. If they are materialistic, it's because you are materialistic. If they are acting crazy, because you are acting crazy. If they are using sex manipulatively, irresponsibly, shamefully, it's because they see you do the same. That's all rubbish, That's not always the case here. In fact, when the parents are like this, the idiot son and daughter won't emulate the parents. They won't follow their behavior. They will just to spastic. Spastic, the father and the mother, they will do it differently, and then they throw on the face of the parents what they are and the parents could not be. Okay? My mother was wrong, and I have showed things in the hide by working for us by do the thing for us, enslave for us, sacrifice for us. Is it what you was trying to say? And I also doing to the son and daughters of mine the same thing. I'm being shameful by doing this in the open, all that I have done. Oh, you go to hell if you're nonsense. Other people hide their behavior. Other people think that the young people cannot see. Now I don't have to see my mother do all the things that she did. Because for them, it's wrong. My mother have to do all the responsible thing that a mother would do for her children. And now what? I have to judge my mother for it? Get to hell, you. Not yet young people see everything. So what? They have to see their own shadow, their own immorality. Nothing is hidden from them. They see the hypocrisy of the elders, and they are desperately to change it. They try to change it, not even themselves. They see the parents do one thing, they will do another thing. The parents are honest, hard work. They say, this is a loser. Why must I be like them? Unless they are bringing me money. If they bring me money, even better. If they don't bring me money, what I did, I'm gonna disown them. Go to hell. I care. I do my part. You grown up. You married already. You get lost from my life. You don't even need to come visit me. Go to hell. This is what to say. I have to say to evil sons and daughters. Because I was never like this with my mother. Never, ever. Even far away. I have always called my mother, Mom, are you okay? Mom, do you need anything? Mom, you need vitamin? Mom, you need anything that you need, I'll give you. That I can afford, I'll give you. I give to my mother. Never, never forget. Never. Ever. Never forget her birthday, Mother's Day, Christmas, etc. Never. Not the same. The new generation of Luciferians born in the 80s and 90s. Not the same. They are Luciferian and they want to be the contra, different. The crazy minded that they always against. Oh, because mommy never give me enough money. Now I'm going to the psychiatrist office to complain there. I'm going to the psychologist office because I never have all the money I wanted. Think I don't know like that. Go to talk nonsense in hell, you reptile from hell. Other people hide their behaviors. Other people think that the young people cannot say, they're good to hell. You hide your ass there, your ugly face, and then you say people hide. Hide what, idiot? People don't have to hide nothing from nobody. Chat young people see everything. Nothing is hidden from them. They see the hypocrisy of the elders, and they try desperately to change it. Yet not all elders are evil, dishonest people. They have sacrificed and worked a lot. It's the young ones who are good for nothing, who are bad apples. Yet having tried and failed, they see no choice. Oh my God, you're so you're so pitiful, but we imitate it. If these are wrong, yet they have never been taught differently. They have not been allowed to critically analyze what the elders have been doing. Oh my God, so poor thing not. They have only been allowed to memorize it. What you memorize? You memorize it. You memorize. What you memorize, you memorialize. Yeah, they only memorialize the bad side of the parents, even that they don't want to. Because if the parents have been responsible and very hard work, they don't want to follow this part. They only follow the other part that they themselves have created in themselves. You see? The only bad part of these parents, the majority of them, is that they don't have the money these idiots want. They want material legacy. It's all that matters for them, status and legacy. Okay? That's what they memorize. Inside their brain, no money, no money, no money, no money, no parents, no money, no parents. And then they bring all the nonsense. If you didn't have a father, why didn't you have my father? Who is my father? I want to know who is my father. Even if it's already so old already, the genital full of hair, like the Borneo in the Sumatra in Amazon jungle, want to act to be so baby. I want my daddy. After go to daddy, daddy have no money. You have any money to borrow me? No money. Ah, this is not my dad. I care for you after all. You not never been there for me. I know all this nonsense, all Luciferian trash. How then should we educate our young? First, treat them as spirits. They are spirit. They know that, and they want to acknowledge that they are spirits. Even when we talk to them about spirituality, they don't want to listen. They don't want to follow. They don't care. They say, superstition. I'm going for looking for money. That's what matters. Entering a physical body. First, treat them as a spirit. They are spirits entering a physical body. This is not an easy thing for a spirit to do. Not an easy thing for a spirit to get used to. It is very confined, very. That is going to do same to the parents, you idiot. After all, the parents have been what, huh? Robot, huh? And yet, huh? The parents could do it, huh? And why couldn't you not, you Luciferians from hell? Only because why you are defending them? Because they are Luciferian like you and aliens. So the child will cry out at suddenly being so limited. Hear this cry, understand it, and give your children as much of a sense of unlimitedness as you possibly can. Like an example, okay, there's even evil daughters or sons who blame the mother, especially so the mother. It's always there is more negative behavior against the mother because the string or the rope always break and the part is weaker. At least what they think is weaker. So let's say they write a certain disease, let's say immune disease, they will blame the mother. Because you only give me this and that, this kind of disease. Now, let's suppose the mother already inherited from her mother, this trashy grandmother, who inherited from her grandmother and from her grandmother, from her grandmother, and so on, so on, so on, so on, so forth. Okay, but this trash of the daughter, she blames the mother definitely without you wanting to think. Stop to ponder and to think and rationalize that this is something that is beyond our power to change, because it's from DNA and chromosome to chromosomes, about mitochondria. If I don't know, I'm spelling well, I'm say it correctly. It's about mitochondria. Okay, it's something that you cannot do nothing unless you change your DNA altogether. If so, in this case, I would say to them, go blame your gods or whoever you follow who changed our DNA and created a configuration to make certain family inherit this kind of disease. Okay, let's say immune disease or heart disease or diabetes, whatever. They always, some of them will blame the mother. Nowadays, like this, is a totally cry wolf for nothing, just to justify being stupid beings devoid of intelligence and wisdom. Okay, and don't bring the system, don't bring governments, don't bring nobody else in this. If you you should blame your gods who you worship, or your aliens god, whatever, which comes to the same. Okay, blame them. Don't blame the ones who are already there here. It was not them who created you, who bring you here, give you configuration. Because if you have to blame your mother, then your mother supposed to have blamed her mother, supposed to have blamed the grandmother, great mother. So why haven't them Why they didn't do it? Because they could rationalize. Because they could think, poor my mother. If the mother had poor mom, I wish I could help her. She born with this disease, or poor daddy, born with hemophilia, a disease of the body, or some other disease of prostate disease, whatever. Poor daddy, isn't it? Poor daddy, I wish I could help him the best way I can. No, they blame the parents if they write the same disease. They will blame the parents nowadays. They write this nonsense, among the Luciferians aliens. That's why sometimes I'm not against abortion. I don't care who say whatever, go to hell you are. Not you brought up this special, you don't know who are they. It's at least so when they are conceived through forced sex. How then, so first treat them as a spirit, when then the parents have not been a spirit, you ugly thing, huh? He didn't hear this cry, so the child will cry out that the suddenly being so limited. Hear this cry, understand it, and give your children as much of a sense of unlimitedness as you possibly can. And the parents didn't have this right. Only they can have this right in privilege. Only because a new age of Luciferians and Aquarians, isn't it? Um, Next, introduce them to the world you have created with gentleness and care. Be full of care. That's to say, be careful of what you put into the memory storage units. Children remember everything they see, everything they experience. Why do you spank your children the moment they exit the womb? Only a beast will do that. Do you really imagine this is the only way to get the engines going? Why do you take your babies away from their mothers minutes after they have been separated from the only life form they have known in all of their present existence? Will not the measuring and the weighing and the prodding and the poking wait for just a moment while the newly born experience the safety and the comfort of that which has given it life? But how many of them remember that the mother has given them life and sacrificed for them? Pain, 9 months of pain and discomfort and heaviness. Huh? How many of them risk to lose a tooth in the process, get osteoporosis, less calcium, heart disease during conception? Do they care? Do they ever care about it? Because these are monsters. And I don't care about, because I'm young. I also have been young, damn it. And I have been different. I have honored and respected my mommy a lot. Okay, so now he's carrying favor, these people here, this new generation, because they have been prepared. They have bringing in since the 70s, late 70s to the 80s, more Luciferians is being born in here. So they are trying to carry favor these creatures. Before that, they didn't do it before, because we were born in the 60s below. Okay, 60s, 50s, 40s, decades, 30s, 20s. Cannot be below that because all of them has gone by now. But so from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, 50s, 60s. They are picking more these people. 60s is the baby boomer, where more people will come in and then expose the system from within. More baby boomer and more how to say indigo people. So why do you allow some of the earliest images to which your child exposed to the images of violence? Who told you this one's good for your children? And why do you hide the images of love? Sex is not love. Love is I bring a rabbit home, bring chickens, bring puppies and kittens for them to love. And I say love it because from nature, love it. Love it as I love you. Okay, unconditional love. do they care? They don't care. They grown up, they start to hate the animal and start to pinch and poke the animal, and even as they are 20 something and 30 something. If the mother go to complain, they will say the mother is so boring, so unreasonable, this and that. All these are Luciferian evil people. Why do you allow some of the earliest images to teach your child Why do you teach your children to be ashamed and embarrassed of their own bodies and their functions by shielding your own body from them and tell them not to ever touch themselves in a way which pleasure them? What message do you send them about pleasure? And what lessons about the body? I never stop them from going naked around the house. I myself would show myself to them naked. I don't care as long as I know I'm proper. I'll not do something stupid. Of course not, let's say, God forbidden, not God, the cosmos forgiven me from do some dirty thing. But to allow them to touch themselves, I wouldn't. I would say no, hey, don't do this because what you are doing, cannot, no good. Don't do this. Of course, in the same parameter, I would not tell them to hurt animal. Because I would say, no, no good. No, start yourself at this age, no good. Grown up first. Grown up. When you are a teenager, then you can do. Why do you place your children in schools where competition is allowed and encouraged, where being the best and learn the most is rewarded, where performance is graded and movement one's own pace is barely tolerated? What does your child understand from this? Unfortunately, in some countries we have no way out. Because if we hadn't given our education to these people, they'll say what once they grow up? My parents no good, they never give me education. You know? So we have no chance but to send to school. Even if you don't send to school, we are either fined or jailed. So what choices do we have? Why do you not teach your children of movement and music and the joy of art and the mystery of fairy tales? I did all that. And the wonder of life. What for have a fables book? I would buy for them a lot of fables book and storytelling them and cartoons. I immerse them with cartoons and all kind of fairy tales because I have been having this kind of infancy of childhood, and I want to impart this to my children. So I would flood them with fables, stories, and fairy tales and cartoons. Rather than seek to put in what's natural, what do you not teach your children of movement and music and the joy of art and the mystery of fairy tales and the wonder of life? Why do not bring out what's naturally found in the child rather than seek to put in what is unnatural to the child? I never done that, and yet they are no good. I never done that. So you are talking nonsense, doesn't apply to reality. And why do not allow your young ones to learn logic and critical thinking? And do they care? Do they have logic? And even as I allow them to run naked when they grow up, they learn from others how to cover themselves up and do stupid things in life and still hypocritically cover themselves up. Hypocrite, because the hypocrites are the ones that dress up. And why do not allow young ones to learn logic and critical thinking, problem solving, creation, use the tools of their own intuitions and their deepest inner knowing, rather than the rules and the memorized systems and conclusions of a society which has already proven itself to be unwholly unable to evolve by these methods, yet continues to use them? Finally, teach concepts, not subjects. Concepts, not subjects. Devise a new curriculum and build it around three core concepts: honesty, responsibility. Teach your children these concepts from the earliest age. Have them run through the curriculum until the final day. Base your entire educational model upon them. but all instruction deep within them. I would say the following: do what you think is best. Lead a life by example, by not by theory, but by example. Even in the end, your works, your sacrifice did not sow any good fruit. Don't worry, it's not your fault. Look around where these people have chosen to go in life, where they choose to immerse themselves in the affluence, the exterior affluence, and the people around them that they choose to evolve and associate with instead of the parents. So don't blame yourself as a parent. You did you did marvelously well. You did a good job even as you were young yet. Okay, you did a marvelous, wonderful job. The fault is that person, is they themselves, the character of the people, is not yours. And the best thing in life is to have a clear and guilt-free consciousness that you, whatever you did, it was the best you could have done. Teach your children these concepts from the early stage, and in sense, learn by example. Have them run through the curriculum until the final day. Base your entire educational model upon them, but all instruction deep within them. I don't understand what would mean. It means everything you teach would come from within these concepts. Teach is not enough. I cannot say, hey, do what I say, not what I do. I must show, hey, do what I'm doing. Responsible, kind, hard work, etc. Okay? Can you explain that? How would we teach it the 3 R's? From the earliest primers to your most sophisticated readers. All tales, stories, and subject matter would revolve around the core concepts. That is, they would be stories of wordness, stories dealing with honesties. I have been going through all this in the 70s. 70s, I go through all this curriculum. Stories about responsibility. Young children will be introduced to the concepts, injected into the concepts, immersed in the concepts. And I try to apply it to my children, but then they have brought up in another country, another culture, another affluence, which was beyond my control. Writing tasks likewise would revolve around these core concepts and others which are attendant to them as the child grows in the ability to self-express. Even computation skills would be taught within this framework. Arithmetic and mathematics are not abstractions, but are the most basic tools in the universe for living life. The teachings of all computation skills would be contextualized within the larger life experience in a way which draws attention to and places focus upon the core concepts and their derivatives. What are the derivatives? To use a phrase which your media people have made popular, they are the spin-offs. The entire educational model can be based on these spin-offs, replacing the subject in your present curriculum, which teach basically facts. For instance, well, let's use our imaginations. What are some of the concepts which are important to you in life? Well, I would say honesty, as you have said. Yes, go ahead. That's a core concept. And pregnancy, that's an important concept to me. Good. Any others? Responsibility. Treating others nicely, that's one. I don't know how to put that into a concept. And no kindness. Go on, just let the thoughts flow. Getting along, being tolerant, not hurting others, seeing others as equal. Those are all things I would hope I could teach my children. Good, excellent, keep it going. Believing in yourself, that's a good one. Teaching, help the animals. Don't litter the road, for God's sake. Be strict for water and food. Don't want it not, throw it not, waste it not. Recycle. Give to the animals, give to the poor. That's the concept that should show this is trash. But whether they will follow, not up to them. I tell you, they won't follow. They won't follow. They follow their own way, their own friends, their own society, their own culture. They will not follow you, your concepts and your value system. They are trash. All they care about is money, 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 and material stuff. Believe in yourself. That's a good one. And wait, there's one coming. Yeah, that's it. Walking in dignity. I guess I would call it walking in dignity. I don't know how to put that into a better concept either, but it has to do with the way one carries oneself in one's life and the way one honors others and the part others are taking. Yeah, dignity is a good concept. But will they have dignity if they go out changing partners, play with people, having lovers, not treat their children well, bear and provide for their children? Are they giving dignity? Are these people responsible? Are they giving dignity to others? I don't think so. This is good stuff. This is all good stuff. You are getting down to it now. And there are many other such concepts which all children must deeply understand if they are to evolve and grow into complete human beings. Yet you do not teach these things in your schools. These are the most important things in life. These things we are now talking of, but you do not teach them in school. You do not teach what it means to be honest. Yeah, but I have gone through this curriculum in Brazil in the 70s in Northeast Brazil. We have our textbooks are all based on moral values, about how to treat others, about the value of giving respect and honor to our parents and our elderly. You do not teach what it means to be responsible. You do not teach what it means to be aware of other people's feelings and respectful of other people's parts. You say it's up to parents to teach these things. No, it's not enough. They will learn by affluence, external affluence. Trust me. I've been there, seen that. Experiencing that. Experience is wisdom. You say it's up to parents to teach these things. We cannot teach, we must show. Example. Must teach through example. Teach alone is just theory. It's not enough. We cannot say do once and say not what I do. That's hypocrisy and false. We must do. You cannot see the trash there falling. Watch. If they don't want to fall, it's up to them. Go to hell. You say it's up to parents to teach these things. That parents can only pass on what has been passed on to them. If the sins of the father have been visited, open the son. So you are teaching in your homes the same stuff your parents taught you in their homes. So, what's wrong with that? The guy asked, and also I asked, what's wrong? What's wrong to teach the kids how to be responsible at home, how to cook a good meal, how to clean a house, how to go even out to work to have a living, learn new skills, treat your neighbors well, teach the animals well, give dignity and respect to the animals, love your children. What's wrong with that? Reptilian? What is the hell wrong with that? And I put those boundaries, like the children disrespect you. Hey, you don't disrespect me, okay? You think what? I'm your friend. Must be like that. Don't disrespect. Put a boundary there when the children shout at you and I talk more than you and then shout at you and almost like attack you. You must stop. You cannot allow them to do this. That's aberration. As I keep saying repeatedly here, take a look at the world lately. Yeah, but it's not the case with everybody. There's exception to the rules. You keep bringing us back to that. You keep making us look at that. But all that isn't our fault. We can't be blamed for the way the rest of the world is. Exactly. Because we have been good. We have been working parents. And not say work outside, but very sacrificing, responsible, hard working. Teach our children good example. And if they choose to be stupid, up to them. You don't blame us. Those parents blame you all. It's not a question of blame, it's a question of choice. And if you are not responsible for the choices humankind has been making and it keeps making, who is? What the heck? Now I have to answer for all. I do my job well and then I have to be responsible for all. For each their own, reptilian, for each their own. Well, we can't make ourselves responsible for all of it. Correct, good. Give him. Give them. I tell you this, until you are willing to take responsibility for all of it. What? Bloody idiot, you crooked reptilian from hell. Now it's just like the thing of there's a phrase. The parrot eat the maize and the parakeet takes and the canary takes all the blame for the parrot. The parrot eats the maize, but the parakeet or the canary eats the maize and the parakeet get the brains. What's this? We cannot be responsible for the mistake of our ancestral, for the blames and sins of the world and for these beings. It's because they want to sweep their own blames, their own doings, that what they have done to humankind unto us. But this will not work with me and the Virgo people there. Give them. Don't be like the other stupid Libra, Scorpio, Gemini, Leo, Cancerian, especially so Aquarians or whatever. Be different. I love Virgo because Virgo are different. Virgo don't give a heck to nobody. Well, we can't make ourselves responsible for all of it. I tell you this, until you are willing to take responsibility for all of it, you cannot change any of it. Yeah, we do our part, you idiot, but we cannot go there and tell the idiot, oh miserable one, accursed one, don't do this because it's wrong, stupid one, don't do this. Because these beings already not even humans, how come you going to stop them? Huh? We can only show example and also teach orally or show example. That's the most you can do. We cannot sacrifice ourselves just like many have done, for this is amoeba brains, amoeba mentality. Can we? No, we cannot. For each their own. Each should be answerable. Each one should answer for their own faults. So you cannot keep. I tell you this, until you are willing to take responsibility for all of it, you cannot change any of it. You cannot keep saying they did it, and they are doing it. And if you only would get it right. Remember the wonderful line from Walt Kelly's comic strip character, Pogo, and never forget it. We have met the enemy, and they is ours. It doesn't make anything right, and this is stupid saying. Yeah, the enemy are eyes, but we cannot answer for the stupidity of the other stupid reptilians. We've been repeating the same mistakes for hundreds of years, haven't we? For thousands of years, my son. You have been making the same mistakes for thousands of years. Humankind has not evolved in its most basic instincts, much beyond the caveman era. Yet, every attempt to change that is met with scorn. Every challenge to look at your values and maybe even restructure them is greeted with fear. Well, of course, because of you. We must thank you all. And then anger. Now along comes an idea from me to actually teach higher concepts in schools. Oh boy, now we are really treading on thin ice. Still, in highly evolved societies, that's exactly what is done, because these highly evolved societies was not tempered with their DNA, was not tempered like ours. But the problem is not all people agree on these concepts or what they mean. That's why we can't teach them in our schools. parents go nuts when you try to introduce these things into the curriculum. They say you are teaching values and that the school has no place in such instruction. Well, my school had in Brazil in the 70s, I don't know right now. Now I think they are teaching how to use the condom. They are wrong. Again, based on what you say as a race of people that you are trying to do, which is build a better world. They are wrong. Schools are exactly the place for such instruction. Precisely because schools are detached from parents' prejudices. Precisely because schools are separated from parents' preconceived notions. You have seen what has resulted in your planet from the passing down of values from parent to child. Your planet is a mess, thanks to you all. You don't understand the most basic concepts of civilized societies. You don't know how to solve conflict without violence. You don't know how to live without fear. You don't know how to act without self-interest. That's not me. You don't know how to love without condition. That's not me. These are basic understandings, and you have not even begun to approach a full comprehension of them, much less implement them after thousands and thousands of years. Is there any way out of this mess? Yes, it is in your schools, it's in the education of your young. Your hope is in the next generation, the next. But you must stop immersing them in the ways of the past. Those ways have not worked. They have not taken you where you say you want to go. Yet, if you are not careful, you are going to get exactly where you are headed. So stop, turn around, sit down together and collect your thoughts. Create the grandest version of the greatest vision you ever had about yourselves as a human race. Then take the values and concepts which undergird such a vision and teach them in your schools. Why not cause such as understanding power, peaceful conflict resolution, elements of loving relationships, personhood and self-creation, body, mind and spirit, how they function, engaging creativity, celebrating self, valuing others, joyous sexual expression, fairness, tolerance, diversities and similarities, ethical economics, creative consciousness and mind power, worthiness and wakefulness, honesty and responsibility, visibility and transparency, science and spirituality. Dignity. How about dignity? How about gratefulness? Much of this is taught right now. We call it social studies and moral studies. I had moral studies, I had social, I had physics. Even in primary school, in elementary, I have physics, I have science, mathematics, language, and a moral and a religion teaching as well. In the 70s, moral and religion are separate in social studies. Most of this, I'm not talking about a 2-day unity in a semester-long course. I'm talking about separate courses on each of these things. I'm talking about a complete revision of your school's curricula. I'm speaking of values-based curriculum. You are now teaching what is largely a facts-based curriculum. I'm talking about focusing your children's attention as much on understanding the core concepts and the theoretical structures around which their value system may be constructed, as you now do on dates and facts and statistics. In the highly evolved societies of your galaxy and your universe, which societies we'll be talking about much more specifically in Book 3, concepts for living are taught to offspring beginning at a very early age. What you call facts, which in those societies are considered far less important, are taught at a much later age. On your planet, you have created a society in which little Johnny has learned how to read before. I don't understand here because it's covered of preschool, but still wanted to learn how to stop biting his brother. And Susie has perfected her multiplication tables using flashcards and rote memory and ever earlier in earlier grades, but has not learned that there is nothing shameful or embarrassing about her body. Right now, your schools exist primarily to provide the answers. It would be far more beneficial if their primary functions was to ask questions. What does it mean to be honest or responsible or fair? What are the implications for that matter? What does it mean that 2 plus 2 equals 4? What are the implications? Highly evolved societies encourage all children to discover and create those answers for themselves. But that would lead us to chaos, as opposed to the non-chaotic condition under which you now live your life. Okay, so it would lead to more chaos. I'm not suggesting that your schools never share with your offspring any of the things which you have learned or decided about these things. Quite to the contrary, schools serve their students when they share with young ones what elders have learned and discovered, decided and chosen in the past. Students may then observe how all this has worked. In your schools, however, you present this data to the student as that which is right, when the data really should be offered as simply that data. Past data should not be the basis of present truth. Data from a prior time experience should always and only be the basis for new questions. Always the treasure should be in the question, not in the answer. And always the questions are the same with regard to this past data which we have shown you. Do you agree or do you disagree? What do you think? Always this is the key question. Always this is the focus. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Now, obviously children will bring to these questions the values of their parents. Parents will continue to have a strong role, obviously the primary role in creating the child's system of values. Yeah. And I should not teach your children how to fear animals and to hurt them and to disrespect animals, but to see them as our companion, okay? And as a living being as well. And in which are beings that also deserves respect and as much rights as we have. Obviously, in the primary role in creating the child systems of values. The school's intention and purpose would be to encourage offspring from the earliest age until the end of formal education to explore those values and to learn how to use them, apply them, functionalize them, and yes, even to question them. For parents who do not want children questioning their values are not parents who love their children, but rather who love themselves through their children, correct? There's a lot like this who barely feed their children well, who barely pay attention to them, and teach their children that animals are only for eat, or keep as a pet. When they give trouble, become old or sick, throw them away or kill them or euthanize them. These are the so-called materialist parents that teach their children. And the kids in itself, when grow up, when the parents are good and teach all otherwise, teach all the good values, they grown up to be all stressed. They don't give value to all the values that has been passed to them by their mothers to them. When they have a good mother, a very evolved mother and conscious mother, different mother. I wish, oh how I wish that there were schools such as the ones you described. There are some which seek to approach this model. There are, yes, read the writings of the man called Rudolf Steiner. Explore the methods of the Waldorf school which he developed. Well, of course, I know about these schools. Is this a commercial? This is an observation. Because you knew, also familiar with the Waldorf schools, you knew that. Of course, I knew that everything in your life has served you, brought you to this moment. Of course, aliens can read your data. They can read your aura and your data. They know all about you and your family. I have not just started talking with you at the beginning of this book. I have been talking with you for years, though all of your associations and experiences. You are saying the word of school is the best? No, I'm saying it's a model which works given where you say as a human race you want to go, given what you claim you want to do, given what you say you want to be. I'm saying it is an example. How about the Montessori for young children? One of several I could cite, although in your planet and your society they are rare. Of how education may be accomplished in a way which focuses on wisdom more than simple knowledge. I know a very good school, very good. This one is called Village School, Life School. This one is a very good school, Life in Village, where you learn the hard way, you learn how to give value to your elder one and dignity. Maybe to, if you are brought up well, you're gonna give dignity to nature and life and as a whole. It's a very good school, that one. Well, it's a model. I very much approve of. There are many differences between a Waldorf school and other schools. Let me give an example. It's a simple one, but dramatically illustrates the point. In the Waldorf school, the teachers move with the children through all levels of the primary and elementary learning experience. For all those years, the children have the same teacher rather than moving from one person to another. Can you imagine the bond which is formed here? Can you see the value? I didn't care the way I also have been children. In the age 80, at the 80-year old, I was having like 5 teacher. I was in elementary 4, primary 4. Okay, 80-year old, I was in primary 4 because of a mistake in my birth certificate. And I have had 4 teachers at once. One for mathematics, one for languages, one for geographical studies, one for social studies, and a moral. Well, it's a model I have very much approve of. There are many differences between a Waldorf school. So the teacher comes to know the child and be there where his or her own. The child moves to a level of trust and love with the teacher. Nonsense. Which opens door many traditionally oriented schools never dreamed existed. At the end of the 2 years, the teachers revert to the first grade, starting over again with another group of children and then moving through all the years of the curriculum. A dedicated Waldorf teacher may wind up working with only 4 or 5 groups of children in an entire career, but he or she has meant something to those children beyond anything that's possible in a traditional school setting. This educational model recognizes and announces that the human relationship, the bond and the love which is shared in such a paradigm is just as important as many facts the teacher may impart to the child. It's like homeschooling outside the home. Yes, it's a good model. There are the good models. The good models are home. Have a good mother, homely mother. That's all what we need. Don't need nothing else. Nonsense. All this are nonsense. High class, medium higher class nonsense. Buggies nonsense. Yes, you are making some progress on your planet with regard to education. I have had a lot of teachers at the age 8, and I went well with it. What the problem? What's the problem? I have a very bad teacher, very bad, the mathematic one, very bad, Afro-Brazilian. Ah, that one was terrible, and she humiliated me a lot. Okay, I went through thick and thin with this woman, fat woman. But I never talk to nobody about this. I keep to myself because I don't like to talk to nobody about my problems. Let alone bother my mother about it. And I was just a little girl, 8-year-old, grade 4, with bigger guys, they're bigger children than I. And I went through a lot of bullies and racism. But I didn't care. I thought this woman in my small mind, small consciousness, I must think this woman is idiot or she's crazy. She's either crazy or stupid. I was 8-year-old, but if she had caught me at the age of 12 or 11-year-old, she will see. By then I have transformed myself into a monster. I wish that I have encountered her at the age of 12 in a classroom, asking the boys to paint my skin of a brown or black crayon and say that my skin is dirty, that my color of skin was dirty, that I didn't shower, all this. Okay? And I call me a white candle and all that. If wearing now, now I'm old already. If I were more than like 3 years ahead or 4 years, 5 years ahead, she have encountered me, I have slapped her across the face right there now. I swear I have done. Because no teachers could bully me then. By age 11, I turned myself into a monster at the school. But I was a good at certain limit. I always keep it quiet. I did my work. I didn't talk much. But if the teacher were rude to me, I'll answer back. And at the age 8, I couldn't do nothing because I was too young and I didn't know what's going on. But at the age 11 to 13, I was pre-puberty back then. And if she had caught me in that time, I would go there and I tell her to go to hell, or I slap her right in the face and I walk back home. You will make some progress on your planet with regard to education, but it's very slow. Even the attempt to place a goal-oriented skill development focused curriculum in public schools has met with enormous resistance. People see it as threatening or ineffective. They want children to learn facts. Still, there are some inroads, yet there is much to be done. And that's only one area of the human experience which could use some overhauling, given what you say as human beings that you are seeking to be. Yes, I should imagine the political arena could use some changes too. To be sure. So, at least I finished this. I'm yet to have my dinner. Okay, that's all for now.